Hi, welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting me today. This is Megzamuse, and my channel is dedicated to cruelty-free products, clean and green products, and discussions about ways that we can feel better internally and exude that in a beautiful way, naturally. So thank you for visiting with me today. The makeup that we're going to discuss today is by Makeup Atelier Paris, and this is a sample bottle that I purchased with my own money, so this is completely non-sponsored, non-funded, no collaboration, anything like that with Makeup Atelier Paris. The reason why I picked this product is, one, it is cruelty-free. It is not clean and green, but it is a product that Wayne Goss had talked about on his channel recently, and I thought, you know what, that might be an interesting product to try. It is a pro makeup line, so a lot of makeup artists use this product, and it is located, it's based out of France, and they just actually, I noticed, end of last year, they launched their Makeup Atelier Paris USA website. Now, the USA website, I do not believe you can get samples from, so I actually had to contact them directly to see where I could get samples. I thought maybe it could be locally or somewhere in the USA, but apparently you can only get samples through their main French website. And so I purchased this. This was probably maybe $5, and the full bottle is about $36. And I did find several places that you can buy the full bottle here in the US on the website. Beautylish, Makeup Atelier USA, I'll list all them in the links below. So there are places that you can purchase the full bottle, but I didn't want to invest that kind of money into a product that I wasn't sure I was going to like. I've tried other pro makeup line products before in the past, and I've had kind of 50-50 luck with it. So I really wanted to give this makeup line a try before I actually forked out the $36 to try it. So they have a very interesting color selection. There's about 4 main overarching colors, and then within each one of those there's variations from light to dark, and that's on that spectrum. So for example, they have a light, and their light they refer to as beige, and their beige will go from a pale beige to a darker beige, but it's a very neutral skin color. Then there's gilded, which has more gold undertones. There's the light gilded all the way to a darker gilded color. And there is a dark line, which is for ladies of darker skin color. There is a lighter version of that and a very, very dark version. And then there's a color line called ochre. And ochre, again, has a lighter version and a darker version. So altogether, there's probably 40 shades. They do a really good job trying to include every skin color. Actually, I left one out. There is an apricot. So let me confirm this really quick. This foundation that I'm test driving today is their waterproof fluid foundation. And let's see. They do have, oh, okay, they actually have 4, 5, they have five main colors, and then a light to dark range within each line. So there's apricot for more of the pinker tones, pinker skin tones. If your skin tone is pink or pulls pink, and that's what you're looking for, you're gonna go with the apricot. There's beige, which is neutral, very neutral range. So there's no yellows and there's no pink being pulled. It's just a very, very neutral range. There's gilded. Gilded is gold or olivey colors, dark, and then ochre, as I said before. Ochre when I was looking at it, ochre is more geared towards Middle Eastern skin colors. Now, they have actually, this line is now in 60 countries, and they actually train makeup artists in all of these countries. So it's absolutely wonderful. It's used in film, videos, art, you name it, opera. And I will have all of their links listed below, as well as the links where you can get the full-size foundation if you're interested in that. Their claims for this foundation is that it is sweat, tears, and sebum proof. It's oil-free, non-comedogenic, long-lasting, infused with silicone gel, which for my ladies who don't like silicone, bypass this one because this one does have silicone. It's almost kind of like a built-in primer for it. It absorbs oil and it mattifies without looking cakey. So let's see, this makeup line also has a variety of primers, and their primers are, from what I understand, outstanding. Their primers are geared towards different parts of the face. There's one for the T-zone, there's moisturizing for the cheeks, under eyes, there's mattifying. They have so many. They even have an HD primer. They have a primer that is like their secret weapon primer. So I find it very interesting. They have quite a few of those, but of course they carry like other lines: lips, eyes, contouring, blushes, lipstick. And then they have like a whole line for artistic. So there's a lot more cream and oil based makeup and wild colors you can only imagine, and ways that you can mix the colors to create unique looks. They also have several different types of foundation. So again, we're going to be covering the waterproof fluid foundation today, but they have anti-aging that's got antioxidants in it. They have cream foundations. They also have a powder foundation. I don't think that they have a stick foundation, but that's okay. I purchased an Pale Apricot, which is the palest version in the Apricot series. And I purchased the, what is this? Ultra Beige Pale, which is like the most pale in the beige series. And again, they have apricot, they have their beiges, they have their gilded, they have ochre, and they have dark. So they pretty much cover the spectrum. I'm gonna see which one works best for my skin tone first. So I'm gonna do like a swatch, and I'm just gonna use my little makeup palette right here to squeeze it on too. Let's see if I can get some to come out. There we go. And you can see that there. You can see it's not too thick. It's kind of watery there. Not too much though. It's got some good substance to it. And then I'm going to apply the apricot to the disc as well. So there's my disc with the pale beige, and I'm doing this is the apricot, and this is the pale apricot. So as you can tell, this is definitely pulling more pink than this neutral color. And so just to kind of give you an idea, I'm going to swatch this on my arm here. So there you can see, compared to my skin color, we're looking at a pink here, and then the beige, I'm going to do that below it, and you can tell that it is very neutral colored. It's not even really, it might look a little yellow, but it's really not. It's very, very neutral colored. So I hope you can see that there. So, okay, judging by the, ooh, it's very pink. So it kind of does oxidize just a little bit. The apricot is becoming more apricot. So almost like a pink blush on my arm. So, okay, that's interesting. I have used this before now, so I do want to give you a fair heads up on that. This is not a first impression. I actually used this a couple times last week, and because I was so excited when I got it in, and I just did not have time to film a video for it. So I thought, well, why not? Let's try it out. And I went ahead and did that. I do not use primer. I rarely use primer. I shouldn't say I never do. I rarely use primer. But with this particular makeup, because it does have a silicone gel in it, I opted out of using any sort of primer with this. So I'm going to go ahead and just dab it on. Just FYI, I mostly use a beauty blender as well. I do not like applying my foundation with a brush. Now, that is a personal preference. I'm sure you can apply this with a brush if you wanted to, but I don't like doing it because it tends to get streaky. Maybe I'm just not using the right brush, and then I have to take the extra step of dabbing it in with the beauty blender. So because of that, I kind of stay away from it. It's just that extra step that I kind of don't need. So now that I look like I have Pale Beige Makeup Atelier Paris chicken pox, I'm going to go ahead and start dabbing this in. Now, I want you to note, as I apply this, that I have dark circles under my eyes, and typically I have to go in with concealer. So we're going to kind of see what it looks like when I apply it under my eyes. And again, wow. I mean, that's just like serious pigment. And yes, this whole time I've had a little bit of makeup down there. I don't know how that got there. So anyways, I'm going to apply this over my eyelid too, because that's another area that I get very veiny and purple and discolored. But from what I am seeing here, it's like, wow, serious pigment. Again, I did wear this for several days last week. Really give it a good wear test. And I wore it at minimum 9 hours. The longest I wore it last week was 12 hours. And I really wanted to kind of see how this performed, in addition to the fact that I was super excited about it. Especially anything that Wayne Goss talks about, I get super stoked about. So, as you can tell on this side, I have some hyperpigmentation right there. So, I'm actually kind of, yeah, it does. I wouldn't say this is absolute full coverage. And this is also a disclosure here. In addition to having a preference towards Beauty Blender, I do have a preference towards medium, light to medium foundations. I'm not a big fan of full coverage foundations, and the reason why is I do kind of like my skin to peek through. I know it's not for everyone, and I'm completely cool with that, and I will be covering makeup that has been sold and pitched as full coverage without a doubt, but it's just not my personal preference. And I will tell you, this foundation is as mattifying as they claim it is going to be. They really do pitch this as a mattifying, sebum reducing foundation, non-cakey, does not have an SPF in it, so be warned, no SPF. So for my muses that prefer absolutely no flashback, and they do indoor photography, I think that'll work out great for you. If you're someone who just generally does not like SPF in their foundation, maybe they have a reaction to it, or maybe you just don't like the flashback of it and you prefer to use like a powder SPF, cool, use it. But I will tell you, this is a very matte makeup. And as you can tell, I think you can tell, I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more coverage under my eyes here. It's covering quite well. For my liking, I almost do not need any sort of concealer, because again, I'm about showing some real skin under there. This is, I would say, so matte it might not be a buildable foundation. Yeah, I don't think this would be a buildable foundation. Okay, so I have applied it. It looks like I've applied it pretty well everywhere, as good as it's gonna get. And I'm trying to get in here so that you can see it up close in person. My mirror is like slightly below the camera here, so I apologize if it looks like I'm looking down. I'm actually looking kind of in the mirror angle here. And as you can see, the sun is hitting my face. But it is a very nice makeup here. Yeah, so I would say a high light coverage down here. I do have a dimple, and it tends to, this particular foundation, because it is so mattifying, will kind of sit in my dimple line. Yeah, it will sit in my dimple line. But this foundation will have the tendency to possibly stick in creases, so I would be very careful about that. So maybe use a concealer under your eyes instead of just using this. But I mean, you always could. It's whatever your preference is. But so far, I really like it. As you can tell, it is mattifying. So this is what it looks like. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put on some more makeup, and like my blusher and my eyes and my mascara and my eyebrows, and I will be right back. And then that way you can see kind of the whole thing. And then I'll give you my final thoughts on the makeup. All right, be right back. Hi guys, I'm back. And this is my makeup added on here on top of the Makeup Atelier foundation in the Ultra Beige Pale. I'm trying to put it up there for you. This is my finished look. I am going to be honest, it looks fantastic. It is matte again. So if you're looking more for a dewy or radiant finish, this is not the one. I do really like the look of this foundation, especially if you're trying to keep it together when it's 90 degrees outside and it's super hot, which is what we're experiencing right now in my area. So this is my blush. It just went on smoothly on top. It's almost like you're not wearing anything at all. It's super light. I mean, I don't feel like this would transfer either. This is a super light filling foundation. I barely know that it's on. But yeah, so everything laid on top of it perfectly. I have not powdered. I haven't needed to powder. And I feel like that's mostly due to the mattifying effect. Something interesting to note, it is not sticking in the lines, the laugh lines around my eyes, which is great. It is drying under the eyes, so it's kind of emphasizing those laugh lines, but what can you do? A lot of times that happens, and a lot of times you're going to use concealer. So this is without concealer on. I'm really liking it. I will tell you that with my skin, it is extremely hard to get a foundation not to kind of creep off my nose throughout the day. So, and this one will stay on. I did notice towards about the 8-hour marker, like right at about the 8-hour marker, that over here and over here, there was some dry patches that looked like my makeup was just kind of disappearing, and it looked patchy. Like the dry was eating it. That's the best way to describe it. It didn't look horrible. I was able to put like a little bit of powder over it, and it seemed to work it out fine. So, but that is it. Like everything else stays on there, and when I wash this off, I always double wash anyways. So the oil is what takes it off. If I were to just go in with my standard cleanser, it's gonna take a minute. And water, I can tell you, I've tried splashing water on it and it does stay on. So the rest of my makeup may not stay on, but that at least will. So this is, again, Makeup Atelier. And I just want to thank you for coming to watch my inaugural YouTube episode for Megzamuse. And part of the positive beauty philosophy I have for you today is that I know how much time is a gift, and for any amount of time that you have set with me, I really appreciate it. And I will be adding to my videos daily affirmations, discussion topics that I feel would benefit you and myself as well in our growth and our positive growth. And that is my gift to you for coming to visit, as well as going over wonderful cruelty-free products. That is, again, my #1 goal, only cruelty-free products. So you can, without a doubt, know that anything that I'm going to cover is cruelty-free. And then the secondary goal is clean and green. All right, thank you so much. Until next time, mwah, see you.